Hello YouTube, welcome to this new series where we will be creating new consoles out of junk. Let's get into it. You've got to pimp my... Based on a little bit of that show, we will creating new consoles out of old, junky kind of consoles. In this episode, we will be showcasing this GBA that I bought. Supposedly it was not working. The seller sold it with this Pokemon Gold version. And after a little bit of testing, I realized that what was actually not working was the game. The console, as you can see, when testing, works perfectly fine. I also tested Game Boy Color games and it works just fine. So I already fixed that Pokemon Gold, and sold it a while ago. But now I want to create the Goldie Gaming Shop custom console so I can showcase my eBay listings on this beautiful console when I post a Game Boy Advance game. So for starters, what we are gonna do is remove all the screws using our tri-wing screwdriver. It's 6 of them on the outside of the shell, and then one Phillips screw where the batteries are supposed to be on. So after we have opened the console, removing the back plate, we can inspect it to see if it has any damage, and everything just looks fine. As you can see, actually the console is in very good condition compared to the outside shell. You can see that the battery cover was missing. So let's go ahead and remove the ribbon cable. For that, you will gently leave those 2 tabs on the sides of the ribbon cable connector, and then use your fingers or your tweezers to hold the ribbon cable and remove it. Now we need to remove the 2 Phillips screws. I'm not sure if it's actually 3, and this console just has 2. So I will just remove those 2 with my Phillips screw driver and remove this out of the way. As you can see, the pads look very good. The buttons are clicky. This is a little bit old, and glue, it was kind of pasted to the board. And now we can see this is very important. This is a GBA that has a 32 pin connector ribbon cable. So we will have to keep that in mind when we are installing our new screen, because the mod kit comes with 2 different kind of connectors, 32 and 40 pins, depending on your console. You will use either of them. So now let's clean the board. Let's clean all the copper pads. Let's remove the old flux, just to give it a cleaner look. You can see all the gunk that's remain on my Q-tip. So now let's showcase the kit. We're gonna use the IPS 3.2 Max screen. You can find this in funnyplaying.com. This is the kit that I bought from AliExpress. Pretty much the same price, same everything. It's just not Funny Playing, but it's pretty much the same thing. You can see this is the connector. You can completely customize your logo, which is one of the features that this new screen has. Other than that, it's pretty much the same as the B5 screen. Actually, this GBA has one of the B5 screens. You can see it's pretty much the same size. Everything is very similar. One of the new features is the custom logo, as I said. You can store 10 of them, and you do that on the computer. You can find easy instructions to do that on their website. And now, as I was saying, you have to take in account which kind of connector you have. You can see one is smaller, the other one is wider. That's the 40, and the one that we need to use is the 32, if you recall correctly. So now let's open the shell. You can see it's a very beautiful red. I wanted this to be, first of all, my first episode of Pimp My Console. So I wanted to be, you know, based on a certain subject. So in this specific situation, I wanted to make it look like my store, my logo. You can see that the shell is actually very nice. I'm very surprised by the quality of the plastic. Um, and also they included more plastic, which is something very good. If you have ever modded a Game Boy Advance on the previous B5, B3, B2, you have to use a bracket, a plastic bracket, to actually hold the screen into position, because they only did that cutout for the screen to fit in, but then nothing holds it on the back. So you need to install one of those brackets, and it's very uncomfortable to install and also unpractical. So this time they include more plastic, and that will hold correctly in place the screen. You have to remove the sticker, the back sticker as well, and then you paste it in position when mean you pass through the tiny hole, the motherboard, just like that. So now we will do the funny part, which is soldering these wires that we have included with the kit. It's three of them, one for the R, L, and select buttons. In order to do that, what we're going to do is to apply some flux because we're going to pre-tint these three pads right here. I will zoom it so you can see it very well. It's L, S, and R. Just put some flux, and now we will bring our iron to 380 degrees and bring your solder and just touch the pad, sorry, and touch them with your solder. You don't need to put much, otherwise you can bridge it. That's one of the things that I struggle a little bit. There's very little room between the pads, so you can easily bridge them if you are not careful. After you do that, bring your wire, hit the pad with the solder on it, and insert the wire. Let it get cold and remove your hand from the wire. We're gonna do the same with the other two. Now let's go with the S pad, which is for the select button, just like that. And finally with the R. I ended up moving it. Also, a big important note is that this connector right here is what you're gonna use to connect your screen to the computer using the connector that I showcased before in the video. You will plug it on one of the sides and the other side to your computer. It's a little bit tricky to get the logo to work. You can only use 4 colors, and you have to go through their software, which looks a little bit sketchy, but it worked in my computer. My sister helped me design the logo, and we finally have it into the motherboard. Another good thing about it is that Funny Plane is selling a battery that has a USB-C charger, and it can be connected to the motherboard directly. And now with that, you won't be needing to remove all the shell and everything to change your logo. You just plug it to the computer, and that will be just fine. I probably will showcase that in a different video. So now let's grab our 32 pin ribbon connector, our wire, sorry, and put it into position just like that. Now you can see this is the touchpad. It will go like this. Be very careful. Use the method that I use on the video to install the ribbon cable. So now we will um, move this like this, bend it to one side and to the other so it bends easily. It will go just like that. It's a little bit complicated to get it to be pasted into the top of the shell, but you can do it. As usual, I help myself with my tweezers. Um, I find it very comfortable to work with them. Now, after 2 minutes removing that sticker, I was able to get it away. So now let's just bend this. We bent it before, so it's easier to get it into position. I use my finger, and now with my tweezers, as you can see, I pushed it against the shell. Now, just like that, we have installed our touchpad. You are doing very good. Remember to be patient. Now what I'm going to do is apply some caption tape to remove shorts when we finish installing all of our pieces. I'm just going to leave that connector available. Also, before installing the board, I took the screen to my computer so I could install the logo. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to disassemble and put everything together. Now let's bring our buttons. I'm using all black buttons that I have. I think this console is going to look very good. Remember, there's only one way to put the buttons. You cannot miss it. Now let's go with R and L triggers. Just put them into position, make sure they are doing their motion like they should. Now install this kind of guards that look very good in the side on the console. Uh, I'm struggling a little bit, as you can see, but they are there. Installed finally. So now what we're gonna do is to put the power switch before putting the board on into position, the actual motherboard of the console. You can see that later in the video it just fell. You can do this step a little bit further into the installation. Now let's bring our board. It is gonna be sitting like this. But now we need to solder our wires into the button pads so we can control the menu on the screen with our buttons. I think that the touchpad only works for the brightness of the console. So let's put this into position. So you can see I had a little bit of a struggle installing all of that. So now let's go and grab the board. We need to pin TP2. That is the pad for select button. So let me put some flux, just like we did with R, S, and L before all of this. And for L and R buttons, you need to use the leftmost pin. You can see that I, by accident, removed the button on the R trigger, but it's easy to get it inside. Just be patient. I use one of my plastic tools to like prime it, to push it, and then push it with my finger until it came back to position. You know, struggles of modding. There's always issues that you were not expecting. You can see it's working perfectly fine, so no worries at all. So now let's bring again our iron, touch the pad with flux, TP2, and add some solder. Be patient. If you put some flux, it's gonna be easy, but still, you have to make sure it's enough so the wire can be put into position. After we tint it, let's clean a little bit the board, the mess we made with the flux. And now what I did is I pushed against me the board, hold the wire into position with my finger. You can see it's the angle probably that makes looks like my finger is very close to the iron, but it was not that close. I just hold it. I held it into position with my finger and solder the tip of the wire with the um, iron. So now we need to put those other two wires out of the shell, just like this, so we can go ahead and solder them into position on the L and R buttons. Like I mentioned before, the pin that you're looking for is the one on the left. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Grab the wire. This is L and the one on the topmost left. Just heat it, put the wire inside, remove the iron and let it get cold. Then you can release it. Let me write a little bit because it's a little bit in the way. Maybe this can be done in a better way. I'm not sure. I'm not a very big expert on none of this, but it works at the end of the day. Same thing. This is the one closest to the right. So now I'm gonna route the cables very quick, just so they're out of the way and they don't interfere with the button action. Now let's put the ribbon cable into position all the way in and push the two tabs all the way in. My God, I removed the R button. It's a very common struggle when you're modding a GBA, but luckily I was able to put it back very easily. So now let's put the screws, the Phillips screws that we had on the motherboard. Make sure everything is in position. I added the third screw, which it was missing. I grabbed it from the kit. It had all the um, screws that I needed. Put the power button in position because I forgot about it. Something's not good. So again. Now let's put the Phillips screw on the battery place and the 6 tri-wing screws. At the end of all of this work, looks like this. I didn't like that this like warranty label got like some glue into the screen. I didn't like that, but maybe I should have cleaned it before install it into position. But lesson learned, I guess. And look at that. Looks amazing. Has my custom logo for my store. Like I said, this will help my listings on eBay for GBA games to stand from competition. And as you can see, for the menu, you can activate, change the lighting, see if you want the grid, change the logo. We can store up to 10, I believe. I only installed the one that I am using right now for the store. Change the color of the screen. I don't know. I think it looks very, very nice. The screen is very good, has great resolution, great brightness. I don't think it's very, very different from V5, but anyways, small features that they included are always welcome. So now let's try with the game. Pokemon Sapphire. Look how cool this looks. I think that we achieved what we were looking for. We successfully pimped a GBA, and now it's a Legoldi gaming shop customized GBA. Let me see how it looks. Wow, I mean, it doesn't get better than this, honestly. And I love that GBA design and that it includes 3.5 jack so you can listen to your music if you have those all cord headphones. They also work great with my SteelSeries Pro Max 17. I don't know the name of the headset that I use, but it includes 3.5 jack 3.5 millimeters. So it's very cool to be able to use it. So thanks for watching. Expect some more episodes. I know I have many series going on, but this also keeps me entertaining while doing this, while recording. So we'll finish all of them. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.